Hi! Welcome to Ink Idea Impact, a 4-panel comic guide. This video is an overview. It shows you how to make a short 4-panel comic so that if you've never made a comic before and you don't know where to start, this is the resource for you. Typically, comics are drawn, inked, colored, lettered, and then published. But before you can do any of that, you need an idea and a script. Let's brainstorm an idea. There's no rules here. You can draw things on your sketchbook, or on a tablet, or a computer, or just on a napkin. The important thing is to get your idea down. You can get inspiration from other comics or movies that you like. What you want is a quick and tiny thumbnail drawing so that you know what your whole comic page is going to look like. You don't have to be the perfect artist. Be as messy as you want. Scribble and write notes all over the page. As long as you know what those scribbles mean, then you have a successful idea. You're also going to want a short script for your comic, especially if it has words. This might be short enough to just keep in your head, but if your characters are doing a lot of talking, you might want to write that down. There's no rules for this either. It can be on copy paper, typed out, or in the Notes app on your phone, as long as it gives you a guideline for what the comic is about. Next, it's time to set up your page. The studio has a bunch of programs to help you do this, like GIMP, Photoshop, or Illustrator. Use what you're most comfortable with. Here I'm using Comic Life, a focused comic-making software that's available in Studio. I'm creating a template so that I can use it with any program that I might want to use. You can also make comics with a free program like Canva, Photopea, or Krita. Now it's time for the drawing stage. But drawing doesn't necessarily have to include hand drawing at all. Traditionally, this would be the part of the process where an artist creates the pencils of a comic page. But anyone can make a comic, even if they've never drawn before. Don't feel like you have to do things the way others have always done them. You can sketch and draw a comic scene in every panel, or you can just use stick figures. I've seen comics that use the same picture over and over again with different words. Get creative. You can even use photography or collage. If you do, you can use public domain images from a site like this, or free stock sites like Pexels to create a new work of art for your panels. I'm using this coloring book full of old comic covers to create my story. All these covers are from the 1930s through the 50s, so they're in the public domain. I've scanned some into Photoshop so that I can edit and color them. But before we color these pages, I want to talk about inking. Inking is the stage of comics where you clean up the lines for the pencils and go over them with a brush and black ink. You can still totally do that if you prefer drawing and painting by hand. You can also use a digital drawing tablet to ink the lines digitally. Photoshop or Illustrator are both good for this, depending on what tools you like to use. Programs like Photoshop use pixels, and programs like Illustrator use lines and paths to create vectors. There's advantages to both, so be sure to experiment. For my comic, I'm scanning the images into Photoshop and removing the white background. Since the lines are already in black, I don't really need to ink it. In this other example, I'm using a Wacom tablet to ink my sketch. The studio has Wacom 1 tablets that you can check out and use at home, or you can use the big Cintiq tablet that's available in the library. Once the inks are done, we can start coloring. Even if you've used collage or photo up until this point, use colored shapes and overlays. They can add a lot to your final piece. I've added a transparent layer under my ink lines so I can color the different areas. But get creative, no one says you have to color in the lines. When you're happy with your art, then you can add words and sound effects. This is called lettering, and it's way easier to do on a computer than by hand. There are lots of ways to do this, but I'm going to export my final art and bring it back into the Comic Life software so I can use their bubble and lettering tools. If you can't come to the studio and you don't have access to Comic Life, Canva works really well too. Wow, you're done! Now you're ready to post your comic online or print out copies to share with friends. If you like this project and you want to try it, come into Studio 300 to play with our tablets and software. Time to pick up that pencil and start bringing your own ideas to life.